Tom Cruise has been a staple in Hollywood since the 1980s. He has starred in some of the most iconic movies, such as Top Gun, Mission Impossible, and The Last Samurai. Recently, he visited Istanbul, the largest city in Turkey. Istanbul offers unique experiences and a variety of cultural attractions for visitors. Cruise experienced firsthand Istanbul's rich culture and history. He visited some of the city's historical areas, such as the Blue Mosque and the Grand Bazaar. He found that Istanbul is beautiful and incredibly vibrant. Standing near the Bosporus River, Cruise noticed the vast mosques and palaces, all sitting atop an incline with a background of shoreline. Cruise enjoyed the plentiful amounts of eateries in the city, trying Turkish delicacies, such as kabaktepe, a pastry served with honey. He remarked that Turkish food was some of the best he had ever sampled. Cruise was enthralled by the breathtaking sight of the Anatolian skyline, filled with minarets and breathtaking architecture. He particularly liked the view from the Galata Tower, where he got a good glimpse of the city spanning in both directions. Cruise was also amazed by the entirety of the old city, with its colorful alleyways and cobblestone streets. From the boutique shops of the bustling Beyoğlu district to the mosques of Sultanahmet, Istanbul was truly a vibrant city. Cruise also learned about Istanbul's art and music scene. He found that the city was filled with many galleries, concerts, and theaters. He was particularly interested in the classical Turkish music scene that can be found throughout Istanbul. Cruise made sure to take in some of the traditional aspects of Turkish culture, visiting the hammam baths and trying sadaka, the traditional Turkish coffee. He found that Istanbul had an interesting blend of old and new, offering both a glimpse into history and a thriving modern city. Turkey is a land of contrast, and Cruise found that the ancient city of Istanbul was no exception. From the ancient palaces to the contemporary art galleries, from the bustling modern districts to the ancient bazaars, he saw that the city was full of diversity. Cruise visited some of Istanbul's iconic landmarks, such as the Hagia Sophia and Topkapi Palace. He commented on the size and richness of the structures and how they helped showcase the importance of the city throughout its history. Cruise also spoke highly of how friendly the locals were. He found that the Turkish people are incredibly hospitable and always willing to help. He felt safe in the city and comfortable exploring it alone. Cruise also found that Istanbul is a great place for shopping. He enjoyed the incredible variety of goods offered throughout the city's various markets and boutiques. He was also able to find unique souvenirs of his trip. Cruise was blown away by the beauty of the Bosporus Strait. This narrow stretch of water separates Europe and Asia and contains some of the most stunning views in the world. Cruise remarked on how fortunate he was to be able to see it in person. Cruise had a delightful time learning about Istanbul and taking in the many sights and sounds of the city. He loved the mix of modern and ancient, noting that it allowed him to connect to the city in a way he had never been able to before. Cruise paid a visit to the Istanbul Archaeological Museum. He found it to be incredibly informative, with a plethora of artifacts from throughout the city's long history. He remarked on how humbling it was to learn about the culture of a place so ancient and vibrant. Cruise was enthusiastic about the varied nightlife in Istanbul. He visited some of the city's swanky clubs and bars, partaking in nightlife activities that were a bit different from the ones he was used to. Cruise also enjoyed the cuisine of Istanbul. He sampled many delicious dishes, including doner kebab and börek. He found the diversity of the city's culinary offerings to be impressive. Cruise walked through the Zurich Mosque and marveled at the restored frescoes and patterns in the ceiling. Afterward, he stopped by the Spice Bazaar, where he browsed the colorful stalls and smelled the scents of exotic spices. Cruise paid a visit to the Talimhan Theatre, where he was able to watch some of the city's excellent theatrical productions. He found the performances to be especially impressive and entertaining. Cruise was delighted by the ncr köftesi, a Turkish fried dough dish with apricot filling, which he found to be absolutely delicious. After learning about its history, he remarked that it was like a version of a classic Italian pastry. Cruise also paid a visit to the whirling dervishes at the Galata Mevlevi Museum. He watched in awe as the dancers twirled and danced gracefully to an ecstatic audience. He was particularly taken with the power of the performance. Cruise was struck by the enormity of the Hagia Sophia. He remarked on its grandiosity and the intricate details of its architecture. He also enjoyed the underground cisterns, noting the importance of conserved water to the city's stately homes. Cruise wanted to gain a better appreciation of Istanbul's vibrant art scene, and he visited many of the city's contemporary art galleries. He found the artwork to be interesting and thought-provoking. Cruise stopped by to visit the Süleymaniye Mosque, of which he found to be particularly impressive. From its architecture to its surrounding grounds, Cruise maintained that it was a masterpiece of beauty and design. Cruise also walked the vast grounds of yeni Castle, where he took in the expansive vistas at the highest point of the castle walls. He was mesmerized by the sheer size of the fortress and the views that it offered.